Hello friends, my name is Dheeraj Vaidya from wallstreetmojo.com. This is part 18 of our ratio analysis video series, and in this installment we learn all about gross profit margins. In simple terms, gross profit margins is the ratio that calculates the profitability of the company after deducting the direct cost of goods sold from the revenue, and usually it is expressed as a percentage of sales. So in this tutorial we basically have four things to discuss. Number one, understand what gross profit margin actually means. Number two, what's its formula and calculations. Number three, we'll calculate gross profit margins on our Colgate case study. And number four, its interpretation. But before we jump into the tutorial, a quick reminder. We will be needing all the working files of Colgate case study for this video. So if you haven't downloaded it yet, please do so from the link in the description box below. And also, to keep yourself updated with the investment banking and core finance topics, please do subscribe to our channel, Wall Street Mojo. So let's get started. What is gross profit margins? Gross profit margins is a part of the ratio analysis framework and it comes under the operating category. Here we will be discussing three margins like the gross profit margins, operating profit margins and the net profit margins. But in this video, we'll be discussing only one, that is the gross profit margins. So in order to fully understand what this margin is, it's divided into two parts. The first part is the gross profit and the other part is the sales. So what is gross profit? Gross profit is, let's say as a company, if you've done any sales. So whatever is the cost of direct sales, right? The cost of direct sales, once you deduct that cost of direct sales, you get gross profit. So I'll explain that with the help of an example. Let's say, you've done a sales of 1,000. Okay. So there would be cost of direct sales, like some cost will be associated with selling process as well as procurement of raw materials. So what are the costs that can go under direct sales? It could be the raw material cost, could be packaging cost, distribution cost, labor costs, and any cost which can be directly associated with that sales process will be the cost of direct sales. Okay. So if you have the sales as 1,000 and let's say if your cost of direct sales is, let's say 500, your gross profit is defined as sales minus the cost of direct sales. Okay. So that will come out to be 1,000 minus 500, this is 500. So any cost which is direct cost needs to be deducted and that will be called as cost of direct sales. We also call this as cost of goods sold, COGS. Okay, so it is also called as COGS, cost of goods sold. So now that we know what is gross profit, the formula for gross profit margins is very, very simple. I'll show you the formula. The gross profit margin formula is gross profit, the one which we calculated just above, and the revenues. Revenue is nothing but the sales numbers. Okay, so in this case, what do we have? Sales as 1,000 and gross profit as 500. So what do we have in terms of gross margins or gross profit margins? That comes out to be 500 divided by 1,000, that is 0.5. So when we convert this into percentages, we get this as gross profit margin as 50%. So that's how gross profit margins is actually calculated, and its interpretations, we'll just look at it in a moment. Let us now look at some of the nuances of the gross profit margins. So I'll just copy the same example. So where we got the gross profit margins here. So let's say there are two companies. This was company A. And then there is company B, okay? Then there's company B that has a gross profit margins of, let's say, 58.3%. So what does it tell about, which one is better? Of course, the one that is generating higher gross profit margins will be better, right? So in this case, when we are talking strictly about these two companies, between company A and company B is generating higher gross profit and therefore it results in higher gross profit margins on a per dollar basis. Gross profit margins of company B is 58.3%. So that's much higher. Now, having said that, you need to be cautious about the fact that both these companies should be from the same industry. So you cannot compare, let's say, if this company A is in retail and the company B is in automobile. You cannot say that company B is doing better and company A is not doing better, because they are in the different unrelated industries. So they have to be in the same industry altogether. Only then can you compare it, right? So some of the industry where you will find the very high gross profit margins could be easily like hospitality, hotels, restaurants. These are the industries where you will find typically a higher gross profit margins, somewhere around 75%. Maybe in restaurants it will be around 65 odd percent. So this is typically higher because if you look at the way they are placed, the raw material cost for them is not high. For a hotel industry, if you look at for a hotel, they have already invested a lot of money in building the hotel, right? So for them, the raw material is the extra cost which they have to bear when the customers check in, right? Or the food cost, etc. So that's why the gross profit margins for such industries is very high. Now compare this with, let's say, another, for example, retail or auto services, for example. They would not have a very high profitability margins. Somewhere around 20-25 odd percent will be the gross profit margins for them, because in this case what happens is that the raw material cost essentially is a very high cost altogether. The raw material cost, the labor cost plus labor cost is kind of very high. So that's why such industries actually show a very low gross profit margins. So that's one thing which I wanted to actually share with you. Another important aspect of gross profit margins is that sometimes when you look at the annual reports, there are certain expenses which are not direct expenses, direct cost of sales. They are like indirect cost of sales. One example which you will definitely find in some of the annual reports is the depreciation expense. Okay. Now, depreciation expense in some SEC filings it's reported as a separate number, but in some of them it is actually included. So it's included in the cost of sales, or it's also included in the purchasing cost or the raw material cost, different types of costs. So you have to read through the annual report and find that out. So let's say in this example, I'll just remove the company B for the sake of convenience. So let's say there is a depreciation expense which this company A has included, and that was 100. Okay. So this is the amount that was already included in the cost of sales. So 500 includes the depreciation expense. Now, is depreciation expense a direct expense? No, it is not a direct expense. It's basically an indirect expense. It should come below gross profit, but it is, because of the way the company has disclosed it, they have included it as a depreciation expense. So in this case, what you need to do here is you need to exclude this from cost of direct sales. Okay. So what this means is that your cost of direct sales was 500, that included the depreciation expense. You need to remove this 100. So your cost of direct sales will become 400, and your gross profit then jumps to 600, because this is the correct picture. It should not include the indirect expense. So that's why gross profit comes out to be 600 and the gross margins actually increases to 60%. So that's how you need to understand gross profit margin. So when you're comparing 2-3 companies and trying to understand what is the gross profit margins between the two, you need to also understand these subtle differences. Okay, whether they are included or not. If they are, you have to exclude it from the calculations. All right. So I hope you understood what is the gross profit margins and why they are high or low for some of the industries, and which kind of cost should be included and which should be excluded from the cost of direct sales or COGS. Now, having understood this, let's go to the Colgate case study and see what its gross profit margins are all about. So here is the income statement of Colgate, and we can see that within the income statement, the company has provided net sales and the cost of sales. and we also have the gross profit number. So we don't have to kind of calculate it from the figures. But yes, as I said, one thing that we need to check is that whether cost of sales contains the depreciation or any other kind of indirect expense. And for that, you need to actually go back and read through the SEC filings, all right? So that needs to be done. But for the sake of convenience, let's come to the direct calculations here. What is the gross profit margins? The gross profit margins, as we have defined earlier, was gross profit divided by your sales or net sales or revenue. All of them are like one and the same. So here, this will be gross profit is 10017 divided by 16471. So that comes out to be, in percentage terms, 60.8%. Okay, that is for December 20. So if you scroll down, actually we have done this already. We did this vertical analysis, you remember, in one of the videos, and where we did calculate the gross profit margins. So this, if you look at the historical trends, we note that the cost of sales is around 40%, you know, more or less it's in the range of 39.2 was the most recent, but it's more or less in the range of 40%. And when we note the gross profit margins, it's again more or less in the range of 60-61% as such. So the gross profit margins of Colgate has been fairly stable. And if we compare this with Procter & Gamble's, we note that in Procter & Gamble's, the profit margin is somewhere around 48 to 50%. That's how their profit margins look like. So the gross profit margins comparatively for Colgate are much better as compared to Procter & Gamble's. So this is how you can kind of interpret gross profit margins and calculate gross profit margins. And I hope you understood this as well.
I hope you found this video to be useful. Please do like and share. And if you have any feedback or want to suggest a topic for any future video, then you may do so by writing about it in the comments section. Also, we come up with very interesting videos on investment banking and core finance topics regularly. So if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, then please do so by clicking on the subscribe button below so that you can get the notification about our latest videos as soon as we release one. I hope you enjoyed the video. Have a nice day. Thank you.